Hey there everybody, my name is Brian again, and this is my 2019 Signature Edition Q50 3.0T rear-wheel drive Infiniti car that I have. I just want to touch base with everyone, and thanks for everyone checking out all my previous videos and looking at some of those. And I just want to touch base again on basically the last video I made, just kind of reiterate, you know, we all want to buy, if you're buying new, I bought new because of very specific reasons. But some people don't want to buy new, or they don't have the availability to buy new. So they purchased used ones, a 16, a 17, an 18 model, and now, you know, even a 19, now that we're into the 21 cars, year cars. So I just want to reiterate and go back and touch base on how things should be done and what you should be looking for, just real quick. I've sat and I've thought about this, you know, and other people I've seen that talked about this in a good way too. So first of all, if you're buying used, well, I'm going to talk about being new, or you know your car, you bought it used and you know it's never been tuned, and it's the factory car, 300 horsepower, 310 horsepower, wheel horsepower, or it's the Red Sport with the 380, 385 wheel horsepower. If you know the car hadn't been tuned, and that's the way you want to buy these cars, you don't really want to buy a car that has been run with a JB4 and lower downpipes and blow-off valves and all these things that everyone does because they don't want to buy into the Ecutech tuning. So, you know, you got to be careful when you buy these cars, what my last video talks about. So with this car, when I bought it new, I waited about 3,000 miles. I did not want to get it tuned immediately, so I waited. I saved up my money, and so I got the parts I wanted, and within a short amount of time, I knew I was going to get it tuned, and I got it tuned. So I bought the heat exchanger first, and then I bought the AMS intakes and installed those, and then maybe a couple weeks later I got tuned. So that's what you want to do. That is what everyone's goal should be, you know. And if you want to add blow-off valves with that, I mean, blow-off valves, catless downpipes or full downpipes, you want to get all your mods, all the things you're going to do to enhance the performance. You're going to get those together. You're going to install them. You're going to have them installed or install them yourself. And that is when you're going to get tuned. You can, you know, after that, once you're tuned and you bought those parts, then you want to buy fuel, you know, go to the upgrading the fuel system. Obviously, you know, then you're already tuned, and so pretty much I think the industry is charging, you know, $150 to $200 to retune. So, you know, in that scenario, you get all these future mods you want to do. Get those mods, do them as close as you can together. Don't run the car hard, and then install them, and then get the car retuned and pay the $150 to the $200 more dollars and get it retuned and do your extensive data logging. And that's the key is your data logging. And when you install, you know, before your first tune, you install your catback exhaust, and you install the intakes, and you install lower downpipes and blow-off valves. You don't drive your car hard until you get data logged, and then you submit your data logs to your tuner, and he opens them up in his computer, and he makes all the adjustments over time, and then you'll resubmit data logs as you go through the process, and he's making sure your car is running healthy because, you know, all these tuners would tell you, you know, when they get that first tune, you know, the first tune revision, that there's quite a bit of adjustment that needs to be done, and that your car is not running good without being properly tuned. I mean, detrimental damage is happening to your car. So you want to get those things, and you want to put them on as close as you can, and not drive the car super hard, and then submit your data logs and get tuned. That's the key. That's what I want to tell everyone. So these people that are adding downpipes and catback exhaust, and removing the mufflers and all these different things and blow off valves, and they're just racing their car and they're just beating on it. Then they sell their car and they buy a lease. They sell their car at 36,000 miles, or Joe Blow buys the car with 15,000 miles on it, drives it another 20,000 miles and sells it close to 35 to 40,000 miles. The second owner that buys the car is the person that's going to bear the brunt of the abuse that the person did before them, or the person that didn't tune the car. It's very easy to buy these cars and put these blow-off valves and lower downpipes and catback exhaust and woohoo! It's driving really much faster and it's awesome, man. But people don't understand that you're wearing out the longevity of the car as far as the turbos and maybe some other aspects that I won't dive into right now. But yeah, definitely. And then Mishimoto catch can. Like I said, I've mentioned putting that on there as soon as you can. If you buy a car with 60,000 miles on it, would I go out and invest $250 in an oil catch can? No, I probably wouldn't. The damage is done to your intake valves in as little as like 15,000 miles, 12 to 15,000 miles. And I know that for a fact, because I have taken the parts off the car and looked at the valves from a new car and looked into the intake valves and seen it firsthand. There's just no arguing. But if you've driven the car and you haven't had a catch can on it and you've got a substantial amount of miles, then I probably would not invest that money in a catch can. But I would look at maybe getting my intake valves cleaned, walnut blasted or professionally cleaned. And the car will definitely run better, with a 30,000 mile car with no catch can. Have your intake valves professionally cleaned, steam cleaned, or however they want to do it, and based on what they're going to charge you, but have it professionally done. You will notice a difference. You will notice a horsepower increase, and your car will run better and smoother, start easier, and idle better, and get better fuel economy. So, yeah. Don't mean to say so much, and I apologize for that. I need to work on not saying that little portion as much as I do. Yeah, but I think that's very helpful for people, and I need to elaborate because it's just so difficult to make one video and try to make it quickly and precisely and get all the points that you need to say in one video. So follow-up videos are, I think, helpful and just help people to understand. So yeah, I'm definitely not saying that the 3.0T is a horrible car to buy. I love my 3.0T turbo car. I love my car. It's the one that I bought, and it was the one I would buy again and again over a naturally aspirated Q50. That's just my opinion. And me owning this car 2 years, I would stick by that again. I love the motor in this car. So I'm not trash talking people buying used cars if that's just the route that you have to go to purchase this and make it more affordable. I completely understand. But I just want to make sure, because people see and buy these cars, and then they're really disappointed after they buy them because their belts are snapping. The belts the serpentine belt on the front wears out about 35,000, 30,000 to 40,000 miles. It's just a wearable item. It's going to break if it's just they haven't come out with a titanium belt of serpentine belts to make that last 100,000 miles. So you got to just be aware that that's got to be changed. So when you buy a 40,000 mile car and you get a good deal on it, you are buying it from the previous owner that used up all the good parts and then is leaving you with a lot of maintenance that you got to do. At the 30 to 40,000 mile mark, you've got to change potentially your diff box, the rear diff oil. You got to definitely keep up with your transmission oil. You can even argue about bleeding the brakes or totally bleeding the system and putting new brake fluid in there. There's a lot of things, and the serpentine belt needs to start really keeping an eye on it at 30 to 40,000 miles so that it doesn't snap and break and damage more parts in there. So there's a lot of preventive maintenance that needs to be done about that 35 to 45,000 mile range. Don't expect to buy in, a cheap car and then not do a lot of the maintenance. Maybe a wheel alignment, four-wheel alignment, new tires, a whole bunch of things that will add to the cost. So if you buy a car that already has all that stuff done and maintained well, then you're not buying a cheap used car anymore. It's probably a mid to high priced range used car. And then they're like, I don't want that. I want to buy the used beater car. Well, there you go. You get what you pay for. And a lot of people buy these cars and then they're like, my turbos keep breaking. And you've got to, what I've learned through my 50 years is that there's usually a reason for something, and you've got to ask questions. And then when you ask questions and you figure things out, then there's 99% of the time you can find out why things are happening in the way that things have gone. And that's just the facts. There's just no other way to reject that or not. So I thought this video would be helpful, and I really appreciate everybody, and I have a lot of fun just answering questions, with a few people that ask questions. And so keep questions coming and keep viewing, and I'll try to make good content, helpful content. That whole point is just make helpful content. Be helpful. That's what we need to do, is to be helpful to the car community, to this car community, and other people that want to check these cars out. They're awesome. I love my 3.0T Infiniti Q50. Everything about it is just amazing. So other than that, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on another video. Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.